Hello, magic makers, and welcome back to the Metaphysical Apothecary. We are your hosts, Shannon and Megan.
Hi, everyone.
Also known as the Scorpio Sisters, here to explore the mysterious, the magical, and the arcane.
You touched on this briefly, Shannon. There are so many ways to represent your pop pantheon familiar in your circle or in your life in general. So the most obvious way to do this is with some sort of plush effigy. And most of the beings that we talked about are available through various sellers. You can buy Pokemon plushies, you can buy Hedwig the Owl, you can purchase mythological and extinct plush toys. It's pretty easy to find them these days. And one of the wonderful things about having a plush toy of your pop pantheon familiar is that you can carry that with you wherever you need to. You can hug it, you can pet it, you can have it snuggled up next to you at night, just like a lot of people who have physical animals in their lives do. So you can interact with them on a daily basis, similar to how you would interact with a familiar living in your home. And you can bring these with you. I imagine that it would be an extremely interesting energy and very powerful energy if you were to have 4 different Pokemon at each of the corners of your circle if you call in the elements. I do want to take a moment and say, when we're talking about ritual and the way that ritual is done, it's in no way meant to give anyone a primer or a guideline for how they should be doing things. If that's not something that you do, if you don't cast circles, if you don't call the corners, that's okay. That's perfectly fine.
I don't always do it.
I don't either. I don't always perform ritual magic. It's just when I feel like I need to. But some people never do it at all. If you perform magic differently, that's perfectly okay. I'm just referencing what I'm usually comfortable with. As I was saying, it would be interesting to have 4 different Pokemon representing each element or representing different energies that you're calling in and just having them there. That would be a very interesting way to perform a working.
Mm-hmm.
Something else you can do is have images, either ones that you've drawn yourself or ones that you've printed off from online. There are a lot of resources that allow you to do that for free. So if you are a shoestring witch doing magic on a shoestring, then it's fairly easy to find really beautiful pictures. Put them in a cheap dollar store frame and those wherever you need to. And think about the idea of having that image of a werewolf or Appa the sky bison or a dragon next to your bed at night. Maybe you can't snuggle up with a picture frame, but you can have that guardian or that companion next to you. The same with a thestral. You could create a locket size image of a thestral and put it in a locket. And that's how you take your familiar with you wherever you need to go, especially if you're using the thestral energy, if you're asking it to walk with you through a difficult and scary part of your life.
And if you don't have a locket, you could slip it into your wallet or your phone carrier.
Mm-hmm.
Keychains are really good too.
Yeah, and there are keychain frames that you can put whatever picture you want in. If you feel like you want to keep them close to your heart and you wear a bra or a binder, stick it in there.
You can also slip them into your shoes so that you're walking with them.
Yes. If you feel that you have an extremely strong connection to this familiar and they're going to be with you for the majority of your life, if not your entire life, on and off, you can get a tattoo.
If you're not into permanent tattoos, you could probably also find a henna artist to draw henna your body for that particular moment.
There's also henna kits available if you are confident in your artistic skills. You can do that yourself as well. Or just grab a felt tip pen and draw on yourself. I do that with sigils all the time. I have one on my wrist right now. Top or bottom of your foot, behind the knee, on your shoulder, somewhere that's covered by clothing.
Yeah.
Possible. I had one on my tummy once and I forgot to tell Sam and he's like, oh my God. Another familiar that I just thought of when you were talking about Thing is the Whomping Willow from Hogwarts. So your familiar, especially a pop pantheon familiar, doesn't have to be an animal. It can be a plant with some kind of consciousness.
Cleopatra, Walloping Willow are 2 of them. From Pocahontas, Grandmother Willow Tree.
I feel like she's more of a spirit guide than a familiar because she's able to verbalize and communicate with human beings in human fashion.
But for some people, she might not be.
That's true. If we're talking about Disney familiars, just pick a movie. Every single Disney film has an incredible animal sidekick who is essentially the hero's familiar, walking with them on their journey through everything they go through. There's Pascal and Maximus from Tangled. There's Miko from Pocahontas.
Flit the hummingbird.
Yes, Flit the hummingbird. There's a pug in that movie as well. His name is Percy. Any of the Aristocats, both Lady and the Tramp, the mice from Cinderella, and even Lucifer from Cinderella, because Lucifer, I maintain, was not evil. He was just doing what cats do.
Yeah, he's not evil. You have Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland.
Yes.
Who's a cousin to Lucifer.
They look exactly the same. There's all of the animals from the Jungle Book. Baloo, Shere Khan, Kaa.
Sven from Frozen.
Yes, Sven from Frozen. There's Cricket and Mushu, both from Mulan. Now, Mushu could be seen as more of a spirit animal because he's supposed to be a deity, but there's also a horse in that film who has quite an attitude. So you could go there as well. But again, for anyone who's younger and loves Disney, or who is a self-proclaimed Disney adult, there's definitely a lot you could mine.
Speaking of pop pantheons that are not animal characters, the broom from Fantasia's 2000, The Magician's Apprentice with Mickey Mouse.
Yes.
The broom is a perfect energy for a familiar.
Yes, absolutely. The fact that the broom has its own personality and its own thing that it does. There's a Christopher Van Allsburg book that I had when I was a kid, where a witch falls out of the sky and loses her broom. The story's not actually about the witch, but her broom. A local woman who has a cow farm, finds the broom, she takes care of the witch and nurses her back to health, and as payment, the witch leaves her broom behind. And the broom essentially becomes this farm woman's familiar and does chores for her and helps her out, and eventually ends up scaring off someone who keeps threatening her farm. It's a fantastic book.
Wow. So broom could be a perfect familiar.
So that's another avenue you can go down in the realm of pop pantheon familiars. You can absolutely have a familiar that's not an animal or a living being. The flying keys from Harry Potter. There's a lot of symbolism there that you could draw on.
Or the brooms.
Yeah, again, the Quidditch brooms. So maybe we could all just have a broom as our familiar.
Yeah. Or you can also do the brooms from Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
And then how they each have to take up a new type of broom after they lose their original one.
And the symbolism there.
From Hocus Pocus, Book becomes kind of like a familiar to Winifred Sanderson's.
That is very true. So you could evoke Book and have almost a familiar on the astral that has all of your magical knowledge stored within it. It's the same thing from Charmed. Their Book of Shadows, in both cases, is almost like a familiar to them.
Yeah.
Whether you're a fan of the original or the new one or both. Excalibur, having a sword or another enchanted weapon as your familiar.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be to cause harm or to fight anybody, but as a way to direct energy.
It could be the sword of Godric Gryffindor. It could also be a lightsaber.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, and lightsabers absolutely have their own personalities.
Yeah. And the purple one would definitely have the personality of Mace Windu / Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. If you're real brave and you know what you're doing, the One Ring from Lord of the Rings.
I am not that brave.
I don't know what I'm doing. So not well enough to have the One Ring as my familiar. But someone out there.
Pop pantheon familiars can go beyond the limitations and boundaries of the physical world, not just with having a physical animal in your presence, but it goes beyond the boundaries of what is a familiar.
Yes.
You can start rethinking what a familiar actually is if you're not bound by the physics of our plane of existence.
Absolutely.
All right, I think that's all we have for today on Pop Pantheon Familiars. I hope that you enjoyed this podcast and it has sparked some inspiration for you to dive deeper into your own fandoms or find new ones and start interacting with these characters and these historical figures and animals or non-animal entities, as the case may be, to incorporate them into your magical practice.
Thank you so much for listening in, and we hope you'll join us again soon. In the meantime, you can follow us for more witchy wisdom, both here and on our blog. And you can also check out our original art on Society 6 for sacred decor and more. Thanks again for joining us. Go make some magic and live your best life.
Bye.